All right, good evening, everyone. The time is 5:42. The date is September 21st, Abington Conservation Commission meeting. First item on the agenda, we're gonna flip-flop it, so we're gonna discuss the enforcement order for 0 Hancock Street with possible vote first. Nicole, it's all yours.
Okay, good evening. My name is Nicole Hayes with Goddard Consulting, here for the applicant of Hancock Street. We are discussing the protocol for the wetland replication areas. If you, can I share my screen?
I think so.
How do I, can you see what's on my screen?
No.
There should be an icon somewhere. I don't know what if you're using a computer that says share content.
Okay, yep. Oops,
Yep.
share. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, so we will first be putting down erosion control socks along areas 5, 4, and 3. And area 5 will have it on both sides. This is the isolated wetland right here, and this is the big BVW here. Both sides of this path will be lined with erosion controls all the way along around area 4 that has not been excavated yet, but will be, and around the new area that's been delineated, area 3. And the existing path that's out there now will be used to cross this area over. And then we'll start with the furthest impact area, number 2. So what we're going to do first is remove all the large trees and trunks and all the other debris that is in the middle of the crossing right now. We'll remove that with a mini excavator. We'll get down to the rich organic soil that is underneath the debris and maybe some fill. We'll excavate down. We'll make sure that we have at least 6 inches of rich organic O layer. And if we do not, we will bring in some composted loam, which I found from Go Green Landscaping Supply. I put that spec in the report. Then we will make sure that the final elevation is the elevation on both sides of the impact area, so it's flush with the adjacent elevations. We will plant the trees and shrubs along the edges as it presently is now on the field. And then we will seed with a wetland seed mix on the inside. Then moving outwards, after that is completed, we will loam and seed this access road because it's in the 100-foot buffer. And then we'll work on wetland impact area number 1. That will be done the exact same way as area number 2. And the planting plans have been given to you already. They include, I think it's 10 trees and 20 shrubs. Yep. As outlined in the DEP manual for the spacing. And then once this impact area is done, we'll loam and seed this path. And then most likely it will be next year, next spring, when we tackle areas 3, 4, and 5. First of all will be area 3, which needs to be excavated down to the adjacent wetland elevation. Survey is almost complete on the plan, so we'll be getting that shortly, and I will know how much square footage that is, so I can figure out the amount of trees and plants we need. And I will come before you again. I'm thinking I will come before you again in the springtime with an updated protocol for area 3, 4, and 5, just because I don't know enough information to give you all the details of it right now. But realistically, it's gonna be done the same way as area 1 and 2, where we'll excavate down. We'll make sure we have enough soil. If not, we'll bring in clean soil. We will plant and seed, and then we'll clean this area here, loam and seed. Area number 4 is a big rock pile, which I'll need to excavate out just to delineate the wetland again, like I did with area 3. And then I can GPS that to find out the square footage, come up with a planting plan, supply that to you. Then we can excavate down to the elevation we need with the 6 inches of topsoil and the final grades to be adjacent to the natural wetland elevation. And then we'll plant that and seed that, and we'll keep working our way back out. And then here, as we saw in the field, there's a pipe and a big hole prior to the wetland. Now, was that ever permitted? Was that work ever permitted? Do you know?
I think that 6-inch pipe was put in after the development. We weren't able, or at least I wasn't able to go back and look up the information. Whether it's been permitted or not, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I'll work on that this winter as well. If we need to, if that is not a permanent action, we will remove the pipe. And we will, I believe there's an intermittent stream channel that wants to form, but it's been manipulated right now. So we'll create that channel that goes from this series 4 wetland down through the pathway that was created, and I'll have to check this area to see if that was wetland as well.
Right, and if you can remember when we were out there, I think Tim was there, Andrew was there, and you were there, and I was there. Tim pointed out the date on the pipes, and I think it was 2020.
No,
And-
November of 21.
November 20, okay. And that John L. Sullivan, those houses were built in 2017. So I think there were drainage issues that the developer was called back to take care of, but whether it was permitted or not, again, I'm just trying to add more information from what I
Yeah.
remember.
All right, well, I can look into that as well, because that's
Okay.
probably, that's gonna happen last, and that's probably not gonna happen until next spring. So again, in the springtime, I'll come forward again before you, and we can discuss areas 3, 4, and 5 in more detail once I get more information. But our goal is to try to get area 1 and 2 done this fall. Of course, with your blessing.
Yeah, it's cutting it close. Looking at area 2, the one furthest out, I'm
Mhm.
looking at the plantings. I don't know if
Mhm.
you want to pull your graphic up on the screen for
Sure.
everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were going to talk about on that, other than you said it was recommended by DEP, the way this is laid out.
When we were there, this one, that's this one. When we were on site, the agent said he wanted to see red maples and another species planted along the edges,
Right.
just like the existing wetlands that were not impacted. So the trees are right along the edges, and then he wanted an interior of shrubs, which we have here, and then the inside, because this area is so wet, this is mostly sedges and rushes
Okay.
right now, and that's what we're gonna propose, that kind of mix.
Yeah,
Nice.
my only comment on that was that it looks like straight lines of rows of trees, and I expected a little more natural looking type of setup.
Yeah,
but,
they will be,
okay, this was just to give you an idea of the
Right.
number and the count, I guess. Okay.
Mhm.
I would like to see that on the updated plans as well.
Okay.
And One of the things I did note, and I don't know if I'm jumping in too soon on this, but I don't have a problem with the trees and the shrubs and, you know, the seed mix and everything, except for the sizes. I know with other applicants that have come before us, we've requested that the tree size be larger than 3 to 4. We have requested 6 to 8.
Okay, tree size 6 to 8 feet, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I think 3 to 4 is not going to give it an opportunity because they're going to be planted in a canopy that has, you know, 40-foot trees surrounding around it. And,
Mhm.
you know, you want to try to do this out the first time correctly and have them be able to take and reach the 75% overall coverage within the 2-year period or whatever it takes to get that 75%.
Sure, we can up that tree size to 6 to 8.
Yeah, and I mean, same with, as you go down to the high bush blueberry and sweet pepper bush, I mean, 2 to 3 foot is, I mean, if we could bump that up as well, and if it's successful in getting it done, it would be nice to have some sort of protection in that area to make sure it doesn't get tromped on by the bike riders that go through there and everything else. I don't know, maybe some sort of snow fencing or something. I mean, how are you going to protect those? Because I know there's an issue with the riders, the BMX riders that go through there. I would just want to make sure that nothing gets destroyed. I mean, that's a lot of time and money that you're putting in.
Yeah, I'm just worried now because we have erosion control going this way
Yeah,
and erosion control going this way. We're gonna totally box this area in, and we're gonna box all wildlife out.
Mhm.
Maybe with the snow fence, the little critters can jump through it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know what's out there. I mean, I know there's probably a lot of deer out there, and I mean, they've jumped my 6-foot fence, so I know they're pretty good at jumping. But, you know, my whole is, I would hate to see you go through all of this and do this planting and then turn around and have people destroy what you've just worked so hard and Mr. Haviland has paid a lot of money for.
Yeah, and maybe we can leave this. Well, I don't know. I guess do you think they'd be coming this way as well?
I have no idea. I don't live out in that area, but I mean, I know he's got no trespassing signs up, so that's making me think that people do drive through there or cut through there or whatever. I mean, I'm just.
There is
I mean,
really,
Nicole, I can tell you that from hiking there my whole life,
Mhm.
usually people are coming in, you know, before we knew this was private property, people would be coming in from,
This
I
side?
would say, from southwest of area number 2 and trying to find the driest place to cross to get to the northern portion.
Mm-hmm.
Because that, you know, the main trail is southwest of this area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually the way they would be coming in. But
Yeah.
the mountain bikers are a whole different, they have a whole different way. They'll come in from by the high tension wires on Chestnut Street, and so they would be coming in from, I would say, like the northwest, heading towards, same thing, towards area number 2.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
saw a very well-defined mountain biking trail when we went to go look at the property. They went whizzing right in front of us. So I looked at it and went, well, that's a pretty good trail for mountain biking.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably keep to that. It's just something to be aware of if you plant over that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also, like I said, I'm on another committee for the state park, and we have a good relationship with the local mountain biking group, so I can just put out word to them, you know, this area, stay away from it.
Yeah. I mean, because you want to give it every opportunity possible for it to take the first time out, because the cost of replanting, you know, it just keeps adding
Yeah,
on more
right.
and more.
Right.
You know, and that's how I'm thinking, you know, I'd like to get it fixed the first time out correctly and have it be, you know, successful. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels or.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people are going to probably go through that area anyway. I mean, you can try to minimize that or prevent that.
Mm.
I think one of the things I wanted to go back to is what Jean said about the tree size. I agree with her, it should be 6 to 8 feet. And for the shrubs, I would not do 2 to 3 feet. I would try for 3 to 5.
Mm.
That's another option right there. And then I had a question about the area between wetland impact area 2 and area 1. That's in the buffer zone, but why are we putting just the seed mix? Why aren't we completely restoring like with trees and shrubs?
You don't have any performance standards for buffer zone impacts in your bylaw. So but you do talk about, impacts to buffer zone, and you just don't have the wordage in there to have such a a strict restoration for that type of area. Plus, it's an upland area, and I mean, for him to plant all that in there, I mean, I don't understand why we just can't seed it. The things are gonna grow back in there.
Right, I was just wondering, well, in terms of our bylaws, the performance standards are for replication, not restoration. The wetlands enforcement manual from the state says that when there's been a wetlands violation, the site needs to be restored back to its original condition, but it doesn't have any mention about using replication standards. So that
Right.
was the thing. I want to know if there's a biological reason why there are no trees being planted in that area. If there's a good reason for that, then okay, I'll understand it. But keep in mind, the focus is on the original condition of the property, not looking at performance standards for replication.
Right, but to make an applicant revegetate the buffer zone without performance standards within your bylaw, you can't hold him to a standard which you haven't made public. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, that's for replication, though. It's very clear that it's for replication. The enforcement manual states that in the Wetlands Protection Act, that it has to go back to its original condition.
But I'm thinking,
If you're saying that it's fine to put down the mix and that there's a good biological reason for it, that's the best way to do it, then that would be fine. But if the original condition requires that there be trees there.
well, I don't really know how to replicate what was there originally. I can't tell because, well, I don't see any stumps in the road at all.
Well,
There's
I-
no
I'm
roots.
sorry.
I mean, I don't know if he took them all. I don't have any evidence that there were trees there to begin with. Like we know there was some near the wetland. I just don't know what those conditions looked like before.
Well,
And I would,
why can't you just do a quick Google
Google Earth.
and see if there's a tree line there?
That's
okay.
what she has right there. She's overlaying the impact area onto
Yeah,
Google Earth.
I don't think we're saying we want you to plant 100 extra trees in that area. We just probably would like a couple trees to match the tree line that's there.
I mean, I have to agree with that only because of, even though it's a buffer, you've got a 16 to 20 foot wide path road. I mean, actually that's the size of my street, the width of it, going through a buffer area.
mhm.
We're not asking for, 100 trees, no, by no means, but, stagger a few here and there. I mean, I don't think I know there was a path because Mr. Haviland had said there was a path, but I don't think it was 16 feet wide.
So
20
just so I know, what would make the commission happy in this area? Just throw out some suggestions.
I'd like to see more shrubs and trees and not just seed within that area in between the two impact areas. So we can get it, it doesn't have to be 100% trees, 100% shrubs,
Right.
that sort of thing. But I'd like to see a lot more vegetation in those areas to get it back to its original condition.
Okay, I will look into that. I will also research the enforcement management document you're
The
referring
manual,
to.
I can give you the page number,
Yes, please.
let me just find it.
And what, and the exact title of the document as well?
Okay. It's called the Wetlands Enforcement Manual, and it's published by DEP. And I believe it's chapter 10. Let me see if I can find the exact page. Do a search. What? Okay. So it is on page 4-1. And it says the law, it states is no person shall remove, fill, dredge, or alter any area subject to protection under this section without the required authorization, or cause, suffer, or allow such activity, or leave in place unauthorized fill, or otherwise fail to restore illegally altered land to its original condition, or fail to comply with an enforcement order issued pursuant to this section.
Okay, I will look into that. I can also do some other research on, buffer zone restoration and all that. So I will get back to you about that.
Okay.
I'm pleased with the number of plantings in the wetlands area and, I like what you did there on zone 2, the number of plantings.
Mhm.
I like Go Green. I know that company very well.
Okay, good.
I know their product is very good. And you're gonna try to shoot for 2 and 1 within the next few weeks?
I'm gonna try. Yep, we're gonna set up, we needed your okay tonight, and then me and the applicant I was gonna call the nurseries and see what they have available. Get that ordered, set up the excavation day. Yeah, start to try to get this rolling.
And your excavation company, Tyler King Excavation, is familiar with wetland. I think we covered that in the last meeting.
Right.
Yeah, and Nicole also said she's gonna be on site
yeah.
when they're doing the work. So.
Okay, so you are gonna be on site?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yep.
And you mentioned clean loam will be imported locally from nearby landscape companies,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's Go Green.
as well as, because I was looking at, they have a whole bunch of different options there. And with compost, so which one were you going for? They had the super loam, horticultural blend, compost, and horse manure.
Well, I said loam from nurseries. I was going to get the wetland material from Grow Green. I still need to price out some regular loam for the upland area. And that can be received from anywhere. There's a company right in Abington, was it Sloan Nurseries? think it-
Peonies?
Sione,
No, Sloan,
Sione,
or,
right on 18.
yeah,
Yep.
Right by the high school.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. And what are you gonna do about the watering once it's the spring? Like, where's
Well,
the water coming
that-
from?
That's the hardest part. That's
Yeah.
why That's why it's important to do it in the spring and fall.
Mm,
The planting within, I'm not too worried about the plants in the wetlands. I mean, these wetlands they have water in them.
yeah,
They're not really a dry wetland. They have some surface water. So I believe that the wetland plants will do fine in the wetland. I'm a little bit more nervous about the roadway planting. If we can't water that, I mean, how would we get water out there, you know? And I mean, with the drought situation, we can't even do hand watering, can we?
Can you truck that water in?
oof.
Mm, I don't know if they
Could,
even do
but
anything like that.
you could, but I don't know how you'd get it to the location without then again driving a truck in the areas. It would have
Right.
to be a small tank of some sort, but how do you get that out there by hand?
What I've done in situations like this, I've gotten either an ATV or a quad, and just with like a 55 gallon one of those blue plastic drums, filled it up with water, then put it into those bags around the trees.
Oh, the tree gator bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But that's not, like I said, I'm not worried about the wetland plants surviving. The wetlands are pretty, flooded. It's this roadway. I mean, grass seed's only gonna grow and shrubs are only gonna grow if, they get watered. And well, we've been having a nice fall so far with water, but I can't promise that.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why we have a 2-year plan to hope and pray that it all comes in.
Right.
That
Yeah.
makes it more, if there are more trees there, then you can do whatever that was, Paul, you were talking about, the
Oh, with
bag.
the
Yeah.
ATV and dragging out a 50-gallon and having the tree gators. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Won't be
of the
able to
tree
cross
gators.
this wetland,
Yeah,
and you can't carry that much weight out to there.
yeah. That is challenging.
I guess we just gotta really hope for good weather.
Mother Nature.
Yeah, the past 2 weeks have been good.
It's been really good growing season the
Yeah.
last couple of weeks. I agree. We've been very fortunate. We've seemed to gotten rain the last every few days.
Yeah, and it's gonna
a
rain
little
again
shot.
tomorrow, so,
Yeah, so it's good if you can get this in and done and this weather continues.
yeah.
It's been ideal.
Mhm.
That's why I'm thinking, if we can get trees in there,
Yeah,
then that's going to
Good.
stabilize much better, put the seed down and
yeah,
everything, but it might be better to have the trees and therefore, you're still stabilizing the area and restoring the area with some vegetation.
Yeah.
And then let the Mother Nature take its course and hope you don't get invasives out there.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
So my thing is, all right, so we want to get area 1 and area 2 restored this fall.
mhm,
I think we're in agreement on how we're going to do those 2 specific areas, correct?
yep.
Yeah.
The only issue is now, what do we do in the buffer zone between those 2 areas? Is that going to hold Nicole up from doing areas 2 in area 1?
I don't think so. I think in the buffer zone, I mean, if sporadically, a few trees, a place here, there and everywhere, just so it doesn't look like like the street I live on,
Yeah.
16 feet long, a quarter mile long. I mean,
Yeah.
it just looks like a roadway.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice to stagger some sort of plantings with, a few trees, some shrubs, and then your seedling mix. I think it would help anchor down. And like Lynn
Yep.
had said,
Okay,
you don't need to restore the whole forest because, I
Mhm.
mean, if you walk through there, you saw that there were open areas among the trees. It
Yeah.
wasn't all like thickly wooded, like another site we were just on that was crazy.
Mhm.
But my thing is, can we come to an agreement tonight with how many trees we want, what kind of trees we want? That way we can just put this to bed. We don't have to have another
Mhm.
meeting just to go over that. They can
Yeah.
get to work, get this restored.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
me too.
Mhm.
I know we are, but the applicant
No.
Oh,
be
yeah,
fine with it too.
Well, what I'll do, let's, we can sprinkle a few trees and shrubs in through here in the seed mix, and I'll set them off center, like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trees, and maybe 6 shrubs within there.
You're spreading them out all along that
Yeah,
area.
yeah, and
Do
then
like
just
a stagger them all over the
yeah,
place. Yeah,
yeah.
between 1 and 2.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Okay.
Just, are you just pick, a couple of the ones, the red maples and the tupelos?
Well, I'm gonna use upland
Or-
species, so maybe like sugar maples or an oak.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. I am in agreement with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe some witch hazel shrub.
Oh, that's even better.
Okay, we can agree to that. That's not too much. That's fine.
Yeah, and also just the same heights as the other trees, the 6 to
Yeah,
8,
okay.
Yeah,
5, yeah.
Yeah, and
And
if you
3 to
change
5
your
on for-
mind, if you want to, add a different species or whatever, just shoot us an email just so we know what it is. That's all.
Yeah, I'll let you know because right now I'm gonna be at the mercy of the nurseries on what they have in stock and
for
sizes.
availability.
Right, exactly. But
Yeah.
I will, if anything changes, I will definitely let you know.
You might get some good clearance prices, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, you can never tell. But no, I'm happy to see that sprinkled in there because then it's not gonna look like a road.
Yes, yeah.
It'll look more natural.
All right, what do we want to do about the wetland markers? Did you get a chance, Nicole, to take a look at what you were thinking about putting in there?
I was just thinking about maybe like a sign on a like post. Maybe,
Yeah, that just says Abington Conservation Land or,
yeah.
yeah,
So what kind of post? So,
Are you
I
talking
just like
PVC or pipe
Or just-
or?
or a wooden,
wood
you know,
It's like a 6x6 pressure treated post, something like that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah, that's awesome. 6x6 pressure treated.
I just want to have something that's going to be lasting, long
Yeah.
lasting.
Yeah, so what about not doing the pressure treated? Because wouldn't that rot over time?
That's why it's pressure treated, so it can be below grade. It'll rot eventually, probably in about 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What was your thought, Alex?
I mean, they don't make anything plastic, do they?
PVC, that's what we've had
Yeah.
done on other projects.
I mean, we could use a PVC pipe, bang it into the ground and put a sign on it.
I mean, because there's so much water in that area. Like there's,
Yeah,
No.
that's true.
I'm afraid over time it's gonna rot a lot quicker.
I've only ever seen the wooden ones. I've never seen anything else. The wooden ones are pretty standard practice.
Didn't another applicant for another project said they used PVC?
Yes.
It was Groveland Street.
Was it Groveland?
Yeah.
Which Groveland Street? Because I have pictures of that and it's actually 6x6
Okay.
pressure treated.
Were
Well,
they pressure treated?
Yep.
Ah,
I
where the-
remember that when Jim said, it was like, I think it was the first meeting, and he said he wanted something permanent like PVC or metal.
Nothing is permanent. PVC can dry up and
Yeah.
break.
Okay.
So,
Well, I mean, we wanted to last more
What
than a few
about
years, so.
a metal fence post?
Yeah.
same thing over time, that's gonna rust and break down too. I think the PT woods, that's what they want to use. I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's standard, then
Yep.
Okay,
that works. 6x6.
Yeah, that's a good sized post.
And we're just gonna have one, or is there gonna be,
No, we can put one here. Here, maybe here. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
What about at the end too?
Over
At
here.
the
Yeah.
beginning.
might be nice to put it wherever there's a trail.
Start.
Yeah, just so people don't go. I don't think a mountain biker is really gonna go traipsing through. From what I saw, it was a pretty well-defined path that they were going on,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe having a marker where the trail kind of crosses into this area.
What, right here?
I think it was around. Remember we went walking down the
Yeah,
path
it was
impact
more
1 and 2.
towards the 2. And remember, just before we hit 2, we walked up towards Chestnut Street, and there was a path, and there was an intermittent stream. So was it up? Is that the area you're referring to, Lynn?
Yeah, it was between 1 and 2 in that
Right.
path, and
Right.
it was before you hit 2. And I
Right.
just remember I was talking to Mr. Haviland, and as we were walking, and there's a sign there right on one of the trees that says no trespassing,
Right. And the bikers went right by.
and they went whizzing right in front of us.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we agree? We want five markers, and we can, whatever day you guys go out there and do the restoration, somebody from the commission can come out. We can say we want, we can agree to put them here, 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 and here.
Okay.
That
Okay.
works.
All right.
So do we want to basically approve this as just from wetland impact area 2 to the
Yeah, to about
end
here.
of impact area 1 for this year, and then next year you come back? Well, if you think you have time, come give us a plan this year. Otherwise, we'll just do the rest next year.
Yes, yep.
That
Anybody
sounds-
else on the board have anything to say about that, or?
I think that's a good idea. Get those done and get them done, take advantage of the season now. And then I think that's a good idea.
I agree with you, Tim.
Me too.
I agree. We're running out of time for sure.
Yep. Okay. Alex, make a motion.
Well, how do we want to make the motion? Just approve Nicole's plans for areas 1, from areas 2 to area 1,
With all
with
the ch-
the stipulation that trees will be 6 to 8 feet, the bushes will be 3 to 5 feet. And in the buffer zone, the tree, you'll have 6 trees and 6 shrubs,
staggered.
the same size.
Yep,
Mhm.
staggered.
So I just made the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Somebody want to second it?
I'll
With
second
the
that.
5 wetland markers, with all the changes we've discussed,
Yep,
I wrote
I
it
will-
down.
5 wetland markers that'll be location determined in the field.
Mhm.
All right, somebody want
Gotcha.
that?
Alex, second the motion again.
I'll second the motion.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, Nicole, you gonna stick around for this? Thought you had to leave for
Yeah,
another meeting.
how long you think you'll be? Just talking about the ANRAD.
Oh, rad.
Well, I think we're just gonna add the stipulations that Mark talked about. We already approved the INRAD, so it's just
Right.
basically what we're gonna add on for the ORAD,
Yeah,
which I think it was the 2 items that Mark had about the doing the study
pond
on the pond.
yep,
And the intermittent stream.
yep. Yeah, so we're gonna try to look into that this fall and early spring about the pond with fish.
Okay,
Okay, and getting the intermittent stream marked off within the BVW, and I know that
People-
was in it,
Yeah,
that was on his summary as well.
yeah,
Well, I
well,
don't-
Everything that,
did he say that to mark it out, or if they come before us for an NOI?
right. If
That
if
we can
come-
have them mark, we can ask for them to mark it out if they plan on doing any work in that side of the road. Like,
Correct.
that's how he left it.
And
it says,
also,
as,
yeah,
it says, as noted on our initial peer review report, bank associated with intermittent stream contained within GC 1 through GC 27 flagging the bank land underwater associated with the pond have not been delineated or not part of the NRAD. The scope of the NRAD is up to the applicant. They have decided not to include it. The commission may note the presence of these resource areas in the ORAD and request delineation in any future development. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, everything that was outlined there, that's what I want to see.
Yeah,
that and whether that pond is a vernal pool.
Correct.
right. That's the next
And if
paragraph.
that's fish.
report.
So, yeah. I think those are the only two things.
Mhm.
Yep. Does
Yep.
somebody want to make a motion to add those conditions to the ORAD? Whoever wants to read them out.
You talking to me?
I did the last one, so. somebody else
No,
wants
I
to do it.
don't want, I'm not good at making motions. Lenny can do it.
Oh, I need the thing in front of me.
Okay.
You do it.
It says the scope of the AMRAD is up to the applicant and they have decided not to include blah, blah, blah. The commission may note the present. I will make a motion that the commission is requesting the notation be made of the presence of the resource areas of the pond and intermittent stream and request delineation in any future development plans that come before the commission. What else?
I'll second that.
Oh, we're not done yet.
We're not done.
The
Determine.
commission and a commission may note the potential presence of a vernal pool in the ORAD and request analysis of water body prior to completing review of any developed proposals for the property. Let me see what else it says. Okay, and the rest of it will be withheld until the NOI and then the commission is filed. The commission can review the project in its entirety, may retain a peer review and can enforce compliance with any conditions included in the ORAD. So we've covered the pond, the life, whatever fish is in there, or if it's a vernal pool, and the intermittent stream. So I guess my motion would be to include that in the ORAD for SE 084-0555. Is that
Do I have a
correct?
second?
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, Nicole, thank you very much.
okay. All right,
Nice
thank
light
you.
at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, good.
Bye,
Right.
Nicole.
All right, bye, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda
Okay.
is, if I can find my agenda.
I don't have an agenda.
The next on the agenda is discussion of possible Wetland Protection Act violations located at 228 Washington Street.
Oh,
So yesterday, I received a phone call from Tim.
Hey, Paul, I think you have that address wrong. I think it's 833 Washington Street.
833?
Yes.
Okay, that's my mistake.
228 something else.
833 Washington Street. So yesterday, Tim called me because he received a complaint from a resident in town. Tim was out of town, I was out of town, so we called Jean to take a ride over there to see what was going on. She got out to the site. She didn't enter the property, I don't think at all, did you, Jean?
No, I did not. I was on the sidewalk and I was in the butterfly park.
And I was on speakerphone when you talked to I don't know if it was the foreman, the owner, superintendent.
It was the
contractor.
foreman, it was the foreman of Manet Excavating for that project. He wanted to know what I was doing and I asked him, I was from conservation and I said, I'd like to know what you're doing. And that's when he told me that he was, and as you heard, because I had my phone on, He said he was relocating drainage pipes from the street down.
And didn't he say something about someone else is building a gazebo over there or something
And
too?
he said because they're proposing to build a 24 by 20, well, he didn't give me the dimensions. They said that they were building a gazebo. And I went, okay. I said, and the pipes, he says, yeah, we're relocating the pipes and the drainage goes down to the Schutter-Metuscacant River. And I said, did you talk to the building department? And he said, no, he talked to DEP. No, DPW, sorry. And I had taken 3 pictures and 2 of the pictures showed 2 distinct large mounds of dirt, one closer to Butterfly Park. From the angle I was at, it was very difficult to see. I should have gone up to Washington Street, but I didn't. So I have a picture with a pile of dirt closer to the building up towards the street. And then there's another pile closer to the Butterfly Park and beyond, so I will forward them on to Tony so she can print them and put them in a folder for this.
And so then later on in the day, Tim and I went out there, same thing. We were on the sidewalk. We went out to Washington Street side too, and there was a small excavator. It looks like they had just installed a drain manhole, which they're relocating a drain. That's what that was there for. We didn't speak to anybody, but I saw one huge pile of dirt in the back corner.
Mhm.
So then we walked back down to the Butterfly Park. We both came up with the same distance. The pile of dirt to the edge of the channel where the Schutter-Metuscacant was about 75 feet.
Mhm.
But as you go in further into the Butterfly Park, you can see it looks like a drainage swale of some sort. So, I mean, I guess in a rain event, there is the chance that something could find its way down to the river. And again, we haven't seen any plans for the drain or any plans for the gazebo that I'm aware of.
I did call the building department. I spoke to Bill Mullen and I asked him about, had there been a permit pulled? And he said there was. I don't think it made it to conservation. And that's where I got the dimensions for the gazebo. It said it was 24 feet by 21 feet. I don't even know where it's going to be placed on the property. So.
Probably wherever they relocated the drain from.
Yeah.
24 by 21, that's a pretty big gazebo. Anyway, my concerns are, like you just said, I mean, there's been stockpiles of dirt there. You just said you only saw one, but I have photos of 2. So, I mean, it's the slope of the land goes right down to the Schutter-Metuscacant. So my concern is runoff, erosion, what's washing into it. I mean, we have another project that's going right in that area, replacing a bridge. So, I mean, we know the impact to the area can be tough.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be a lot of departments looking at this and giving input to this as to how it should have proceeded. And to make sure that we're following all the guidelines that need to be followed.
Yeah, I mean, at the least, until that happens, we need to see some sort of erosion control around that pile of dirt.
Yeah.
I agree.
So when you talk to people, did they say that it was okay to not go to conservation, or?
Bill said that, if I can recall correctly, I said, when was this permit issued? And he said they applied for it in April and it was approved in August 3rd, I believe he said. I asked if it came to conservation, and he said, they're not breaking ground. They're just going to put sonotubes in.
Yeah, that's still breaking ground though.
Well, again, I know that's breaking ground, and I know they usually have to be 4 foot in the ground below the frost line. So I mean, I wasn't going to get into it, and I just said, okay, thank you. And I said, we would most likely be in touch with the, commissioner, the building commissioner, because it just, I don't know how we didn't get notified. So, and conservation did not sign off on it. I did ask, I said, did conservation see this? Was it signed off on? He said, no. So,
So do we want to do an enforcement order with basically the stipulation that erosion control needs to be put up on the piles, and we need to see a plan of what's going on?
I think that would be a wise idea, just to make sure that, we're not going to get ourselves into a situation where, I mean, it's a river. It's not a stream. It's a river that feeds Island Grove and then goes beyond.
Yep.
I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, but
I think a full NOI should have been submitted for a project like that. And I have some clarification because I did speak to John Stone from the DPW to see exactly what permissions were given to the owner and the contractor.
okay,
And what John Stone had given the contractor permission to do was to do the drainage modification, not said, go ahead and do whatever you want there. They're the jurisdiction for the drainage in town. So he said you'd be okay to do the drainage. And I think there was a lack of due diligence and they assumed it was just go ahead with whatever, but that wasn't exactly how I took it when I spoke with John Stone. He gave them permission for what he was allowed to give permission for. And I think they failed to do their due diligence and notify the appropriate boards.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I talked to John too. I agree with what Tim said.
thank you. Again, I did not know the specifics. I did not speak to him. I did go to the DPW office because the man in charge of the excavation had said he spoke to someone, and that's when I went to the office and I said, could you please have John call Paul? Because again, I was just a messenger service that day, taking pictures and just doing some running which is fine. I don't mind doing that. And I appreciate you following up with John, Tim, and Paul. I really do, because it makes it a little more understandable of what was said. So
Yeah, I definitely wanted further clarification on that too. And he definitely was able to give it, and I can see exactly, what happened, just the lack of due diligence.
okay, good. Yeah.
It sounds like we need to have better communications or education of who needs to come before us from various members of the departments in Abington.
I agree. I think that if we could reach out to the other departments and boards and just say, we need to all watch each other's backs and help each other out as best as possible. If there's any suspicion, or not suspicion, I don't mean the word suspicion. If there's any thought that it might be an area of question for conservation, or it might be a zoning issue, or it might be a planning, to at least give them a heads up email or something, or
I
do
think
it
that's the
through the
way to do it
building,
tonight.
do
I'll
it
tell
through
them.
the building department,
Yeah,
so that we can avoid this. Because I mean, the excavator, I don't know that company, Manet, M-A-N-E-T. I'm sure this wasn't the first job they ever did, but they don't know the rules in Abington. But I would think that they would go to
well, those are the
town
rules
hall.
everywhere. I mean, like I said, you drive over a bridge to get to that property. You have a giant pond, a couple 100 feet away. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Light should have dawned on Marblehead.
to say they know there's no possible impacts over there.
Right. And that's all we're looking for, is to ensure that we're doing our due diligence, and what DEP wants us to do is protect the areas that need to be protected. I mean, just it might be perfectly fine what they're doing, but it's just that we need to see it and at least review it and say, yeah, this is okay, this is good, but.
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, the drainage, everything might be fine, the gazebo might be fine, but the pile of dirt is already not, fine. It's already within 100 feet of the stockpile's within 100 feet of the
Right,
river.
right.
I mean, and what he said about, well, we're not digging anything, which is obviously not correct. It doesn't matter if you're digging. It's just the Wetlands Protection Act mentions, dredging and filling or alteration.
Mhm.
So alteration doesn't necessarily have to be, digging in the dirt. And most of the time it's going to be, but that's what the regulations say, the law says. So it might be some education given to people to, even if they don't dig in the dirt, even if you don't think they're going to dig in the dirt, they still should check with us before they perform any work, unless it meets those exemptions, like trimming vegetation or
Stockpiling wood, putting in a stone pathway.
yeah,
those
those
types of exemptions.
exclusions and stuff. But this isn't one of
Right.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think right now, if we're gonna issue an enforcement order, I think we should have this, condition that they need to put erosion control up around the stockpile. Do we want that, or do we want it all along the edge of the asphalt, the back there?
I would play on the side of caution and just do it along the whole backside. I mean, I don't know that property. I haven't walked that property, but I'd sure want to see it protected from anything washing into that river. That's
mean,
my
the way-
opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the way it is over there, I think the only way it's gonna get to the river is through that back corner where that stockpile is.
Okay,
But I'd also like to see them come before us with a plan so we know
What they're planning.
what's being done, or what's left to be done, or what's already been done.
Mm,
Like I said, other boards might feel the same way, but we have no jurisdiction over that. We can't tell them what to do.
Sure.
All we can let them know is what we're doing and what we found out so far.
sounds good to me.
So does somebody want to make a motion for this?
Come on, Lynn.
What was the address again? Was it 833?
833 Washington.
Okay. I will make a motion to impose an enforcement order on 833 Washington Street.
With what conditions?
The conditions for erosion control
Around the stockpile.
around the stockpile.
I'll second that.
And to come before the board to submit plans.
And to submit plans before the Conservation Commission for any work to be performed on the property.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Correspondence. Tony, is there any other correspondence other than the 0 Summer Street that the zoning board sent over the other day? Oh, Tony's muted. No, she said no. Site visits, technically, I mean, we didn't really do a site visit. We did a partial site visit of 833 Washington Street. I think that was it, Tim, right? Were there
Yeah,
any other
that was
site-
it.
All right.
Um,
Go ahead, Gene.
no, I think I did text you over the weekend. Does that count as correspondence?
No,
Oh, do I have to write an official letter or something I saw?
yes.
Okay. I will do that.
That's it. Next meeting
Okay.
is still scheduled for the 11th of October.
Oh, just a quick question, and it's got nothing to do with this, but
Do you mean the 13th? Oh, wait,
Is it the
No, it's-
13th?
sorry. No, I'm looking at
Is it?
September. You're right. Sorry, 11th.
Go
Got
ahead,
it.
Gene. What were you gonna say?
I forget. It had to do with, oh, sorry, meeting's on the 11th. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, one other thing, just, there's a bunch of MACC classes coming up.
Mhm.
That's what it was.
If anybody hasn't taken them, Just go to the MACC website and pick and choose which ones you want to take.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, because I did go on their website today and I saw 3 classes that I want to take in October. And that will complete my certification. And I wanted to know how many more classes Lynn was going to and when she going to them, because we need to celebrate her certification. I'm going to bring in a cake.
Oh, thank you. I just need
Okay.
one more. And I was planning on taking the one, I think it was October.
4th. Oh, I'll see you on that meeting.
Okay, good.
All right. So we can celebrate on the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Nobody has anything else? Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. I never get to do that before. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Everyone have a good night.
You
Have a good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Here, have a good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.